Yes, an absolute fury amongst conservative lockdown skeptics about this. Now, the government scientists are clearly very nervous about indoor gatherings where there's no social distancing and no mask. But I spoke to one senior conservative who described this as a sneaky move because they say the government has always been wary of the idea of having COVID vaccine passports. The government is saying that's got to be done by the end of September if you want to enter a nightclub. Another senior conservative figure I spoke to said that there'd been a bit of a delegation, went to see a minister this afternoon and said, "What on earth are you doing here?" And the minister told them that this announcement is all about driving up vaccination rates amongst younger people. And they got the distinct impression from this minister that if those vaccination rates go up and if infection rates go down towards the end of the summer, then this COVID vaccine passport may never come to pass. But it was interesting that Boris Johnson was unable to rule out the idea of extending these COVID vaccine passports to entering a pub. He cited the intervention by the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Jonathan Van Tam, very nervous about indoor settings. Jonathan Van Tam, of course, known in Whitehall as JVT.
I don't want to get, as I said many times before in this pandemic, I don't want to get a situation where people are asked to produce papers to go anywhere to enjoy any of the pleasures that they do. But we've got to make sure that we, and so I certainly don't want to see passports for pubs, but where there are the settings that JVT describes as corresponding to the three C's: closed, crowded, with close social contact. We reserve a right to do what's necessary to protect the public.
So what does today's last-minute twist in reopening rules mean for nightclubs? Michael Kill, Chief Executive of the Nighttime Industries Association, joins us now. Welcome. Not the Freedom Day you were expecting, I suppose.
No, I mean, we were forgiven 17 hours of glory in terms of the Freedom Day. But as you can appreciate, this announcement has been met with much anger and frustration. And the industry as a whole feel that they're being marginalised. And there's a huge amount of concern with regard to this release, particularly as it's contradictory to the last couple of weeks' announcements, particularly the Health Secretary, who highlighted that this wouldn't be the case.
But I mean, let's just look at it from the other point of view. I mean, you don't want clubs to become mass spreading events, do you? And if you look at what's happened in the Netherlands, Israel, they've had to step back there because of the amount of COVID being spread in clubs. So presumably you can see the need for some sort of checking, or not?
Well, no, listen, without a doubt, we don't want to be opening the doors and causing any safety issue or public health issues. But there is a huge amount of work that's gone into opening these nightclubs in terms of protocols, procedures in line with the guidance that the government's put out. So, don't underestimate how much work has gone into this. The challenge that we have is, we want the government to be above the line and be clear in exactly what the expectation is. What they've done is put some guidance out, which is quite ambiguous in its